ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय
We know not what ecstasy Mother Aditi derived from her son in Krita Yuga. We know not Mother Kaushalya's anguish of 14 years of separation from Rama in Treta Yuga. In Dwapara, Mother Devaki's motherhood to Krishna stood confined to giving birth alone. In Kali, Mother Devagiri Amma lived abandoning Shridi Sai in the forest. But you, Mother Eswaramma, you gave birth to Satya Sai and gave the universe the Lord of Lords. You adored him as a child, treasured in the pupil of your eye. Who else other than you can lay claim to such glory immense? Eswaramma, the Mother of God.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
शांति शांति शांति।
गजवदना गणनाता गजवदना दीननाता गजवदना गणनाता गजवदना दीननाता सिद्धि विदाता शिवतनया सिद्धि विदाता शिवतनया बुद्धि प्रदायक गजानना बुद्धि प्रदायक गजानना पार्वती नंदन भव भय भंजन पार्वती नंदन भव भय भंजन युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा गजवदना गणनाथा गजवदना दीननाथा सिद्धि विदाता शिवतनया बुद्धि प्रदायक गजानना पार्वती नंदन भव भय भंजन युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा युग युग वंदित जय श्री गणेशा गजवदना गणनाथा गजवदना दीननाथा
देवी भवानी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ देवी भवानी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ देवी भवानी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ दया करो साई माँ कृपा करो साई माँ दया करो साई माँ कृपा करो साई माँ दया करो साई माँ कृपा करो साई माँ जय माँ जय देवी भवानी माँ जय माँ जय देवी भवानी माँ जय माँ जय देवी भवानी माँ जय देवी भवानी माँ जय पट निवासिनी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ जय पट निवासिनी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ जय पट निवासिनी माँ जय साई भवानी माँ जय पति निवासिनी माँ, जय साई भवानी माँ, देवी भवानी माँ, जय साई भवानी माँ, देवी भवानी माँ, जय साई भवानी माँ, दया करो साई माँ, कृपा करो साई माँ, दया करो साई माँ, कृपा करो साई माँ, जय माँ, जय माँ, जय देवी भवानी माँ, जय माँ, जय देवी भवानी माँ, जय पति निवासिनी माँ, जय साई 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 भवानी माँ, देवी भवानी माँ, जय साई भवानी माँ।
माता माता साई माता, माता माता साई माता, माता माता साई माता, जगत माता साई विश्व 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 माता, माता माता साई माता, माता माता साई माता, दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी, दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी, दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी, दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, माता माता साई माता, माता माता साई माता, जगत माता साई विश्व माता, जगत माता साई विश्व माता, माता माता साई माता, माता माता साई माता, दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी, दुर्गा भवानी काली कपालिनी, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, शांतिदायिनी साई माता, माता माता साई माता।
दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ,
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 अम्बा दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ,
अम्बा दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ, दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ
करुणा सागरी माँ
करुणा सागरी माँ
काली कपालिनी माँ
काली कपालिनी माँ
जगदोधारिणी माँ
जगदोधारिणी माँ
जगदोधारिणी माँ
जगदोधारिणी माँ
साईं जय जय माँ
साईं जय जय माँ
अम्ब साईं जय जय माँ
अम्बा साईं जय जय माँ
दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ
दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ
अम्ब दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ
अम्बा दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ
करुणा सागरी माँ
करुणा सागरी माँ
काली कपालिनी माँ
काली कपालिनी माँ
जगदोधारिणी माँ
जगदोधारिणी माँ
अम्बा जय जय माँ
जय जय माँ
सत्य साई जय जय माँ
सत्य साईं जय जय माँ
दुर्गे 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 जय जय माँ जगदीश्वरी दया करो माँ जगदीश्वरी दया करो माँ शिव शंकरी कृपा करो माँ शिव शंकरी कृपा करो माँ साईश्वरी रक्षा करो माँ साईश्वरी रक्षा करो माँ साईश्वरी दया करो माँ जगदीश्वरी दया करो माँ शिव शंकरी कृपा करो माँ शिव शंकरी कृपा करो माँ जगदीश्वरी दया करो माँ शिव शंकरी कृपा करो माँ साईश्वरी रक्षा करो माँ परमेश्वरी दया करो माँ शिव शंकरी कृपा करो माँ शिव शंकरी कृपा करो माँ जगदीश्वरी दया करो माँ You are the light of my life, Sai Ma.
guide me forever each day. With all your love, you show me the way. How can we thank you, our dear Sai Baba, for all your patience and love, Sai Baba? How can we thank you, our dear Sai Baba, for all your patience and love, Sai Baba, Sai
Sairam to all. Welcome to our Eswaramma Day celebrations. My name is Renu and I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speakers. But before I do that, I would like to thank the SSE children who just participated in the bhajan session this morning. Well done. As we discuss in our SSE classes, Mother Eswaramma asked her son for many things that were needed for the village, including a hospital, schools, and drinking water. She knew that a good education, especially a spiritually well-rounded education, was needed for the future of humanity. Today, we see the products of her wishes. We have the honor of having Mr. and Mrs. Suresh with us. Mr. Suresh Ramaswamy is an alumni of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Prashanti Nilayam. He attended the campus during the period of 1992 to 1999. During his 7 years with Swami, he completed a bachelor's and a master's in science, and then he followed it up with an MBA. During his college days, he was a member of the Mandir Bhajan group and the brass band. We were actually introduced to him in 2018 when he came to play the tabla for one of our guest speakers. He was also chosen by Swami to be part of a group that traveled to Kodaikanal in 1998. If you have ever logged into the Radio Sai website, there's a picture of him and the group with Swami taken during this trip. We are hoping to hear a little bit more about this trip this morning. Lavanya Suresh is an alumni of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Anandapur campus. She attended the college from 1994 to 1996. She is a talented bhajan singer and was part of the bhajan self-reliance group in Anandapur. She was also fortunate to participate in many musical programs during her stay. She is currently working as a Montessori elementary teacher at a private school in Richmond. I have heard wonderful things about her as a teacher, as my nephew is in her class. Mr. and Mrs. Suresh, welcome to our online celebration today. And again, thank you for accepting our invitation to share some of your experiences and lessons learned at the Lotus Feet. Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam. I offer my most humble salutations at the divine lotus feet of our Mother Sai. I'd like to begin talking about how I came to Swami and about my Anantapur days, and then I'm going to hand it over to Suresh. So I came to Swami in, I studied between 94 and 97, did my bachelor's in commerce, and I didn't have much of an idea about the institution, how it would be, and how things were. So I didn't apply to any other university and any other college. So the only place where I applied was Anantapur in Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. So I got through the written and oral examination, which was quite rigorous and very quite a challenging written exam which I've ever written in my life. And then was my time in Anantapur, where so that year when I joined in 94, that was the year when Sai Kulwant Hall was being built. So Swami was in Brindavan for an extended period of time. So I came straight to the Anantapur campus. My father dropped me. So no men were allowed inside. So he just dropped me at the gate. And then there I was, a 17-year-old with 2 pieces of baggage, not knowing what to do, where to go. And then for a moment, I was lost and I didn't know whether it was the right decision I made in my life. So I went into the hostel and I was taken care by all the beautiful, wonderful students, the older students. So the Anantapur campus was the college was adjacent to the hostel. So in a room, there would be about 6 to 9 around that, the average, who would share a room and who would share a bathroom. So that was the time, that was how it was. And so I had the help of someone who took me to my room and took care of me. But then I didn't have Swami's darshan, so I was lost and I was very homesick. And then I thought maybe I should call mom and dad and say that that's it, I don't want to be here anymore. Because I had not seen Swami as a student. I mean, I had just seen Swami before when he used to come to Chennai, seen him at Sundaram, but I hadn't seen him ever since I gotten into the college. So usually students have a summer course for about 2 to 3 weeks before the college would commence on June 1st. So none of that happened, and I was devastated and I was very upset. I didn't feel like doing anything. So that led me to write a letter to Swami, and I said, Swami, I'm here for you, and you've just abandoned me. I don't know what to do. I don't know if this was the right thing, which I made, which the right decision I made. And this happened because I just pulled on all through June, and then this happened towards the end of June. I wrote this letter. And lo and behold, as soon as I'm done writing this letter, our warden sends and she announces, and she says, I have a very important announcement for all of you. Please assemble in the bhajan hall right away. And then she says that Swami has invited all of you to Brindavan for Guru Purnima. And that's it. My heart was jumping in joy. And he said he has made special arrangements for your stay. And I remember it's so clear in my mind, the first darshan I had of Swami, he walking through from the Trai Vrindavan, and the unconditional love of Swami, the love of 1,000 mothers. That's so true. It just chokes me up even now when I think about it. How he took care of every single thing. Was the food good? Did you all get the mangoes? So it was that heart-to-heart connection, which I still feel every moment, and how he would always make sure that everybody was all his students were completely in his would um, would receive all the love he was. You could feel that with his divine presence and with his words. And Swami's words always for us were love and service. And he showed it in every single, he demonstrated it in all his acts. And that's what he wanted us to always do. And the best place to practice those two things were in the hostel, where we had to share, as I mentioned, we had to share a room with people from different parts of the country and sometimes even different parts of the world. And where we had to share love, we had to cooperate, we had to serve one another, take care of one another. If somebody was sick, we would be there as family to take care of that person in the room. And these were things which were hands-on practice. So Swami's education was not just academics, was all these things which made it so special. Where we couldn't see our parents if we wanted to, but we had Swami's love at every moment. We could feel that every moment. And we were not even physically there in Puttaparthi. We used to only go for festivals and special occasions. But we could feel it through our teachers, our lecturers, who used to always emanate that love which always Swami always wants us to do. So one of the other things which I wanted to mention, so I had those beautiful 3 years in Swami's fold, and how we used to go, we used to long for those days when we used to go to Puttaparthi and have Swami's darshan, and we used to wait for him to come. We used to wait for him to distribute saris to us during birthday, and we used to wait for him to come. Oh, when did you come? Is your stay comfortable? So those beautiful things we used to wait for to get from Swami, and it was always that heart-to-heart connection which we felt always. One special incident which I would like to, which is very close to my heart, I'd like to share today. Since everybody is talking about quarantine, and we are all under lockdown. So I was in quarantine once. I had chicken pox in '97. That was my final year in my college, and it was like so many of the girls got chickenpox that year, and I got it too. So it was just about a month before our final examinations, and that was the year I was going to graduate. So this exam was very, very important. So everybody was preparing for those exams, studying very hard, and just about close to a month before the exam, I was diagnosed with chickenpox, and I was sent to a quarantine ward where all the girls who had chickenpox had to stay. And my mother came from Chennai to visit me, and I said, I want to come with you. And she said, no, this is contagious, and I can't take you on a night-long bus ride. And this is your final exam. What are you going to do with your exam? So I was upset that I couldn't go home, and I didn't know what to do. And I was in quarantine, and all of us were over there in that quarantine ward. And many of them recovered and went back to the hostel after about 2 weeks. But I developed some secondary infections, and my condition worsened, and I was all the more devastated. Okay, now I'm sick, and now this is my final year, and I don't know whether I can even write my exams. Now, what do I do? So I I wrote a letter to Swami that day. That was at my wit's end, and I didn't know what to do. So I wrote a letter crying throughout, and I finished writing the letter, and I was sobbing, I remember, when I was writing that. I finished, I put my pen down, I closed my paper, and someone said, Rajeshwari madam is waiting for you. She wants to talk to you. So there was the second floor where you look down, you can see the person standing down, because nobody is allowed to come into your quarantine ward. And she says, I'm going to Puttaparthi. Do you have any letters for Swami? She didn't ask anybody. She came and she asked me. And then I said, yes, I do have a letter. And I handed this letter into my teacher. And she took the letter and she went away. And next day evening, same time, she came back. She went for just a day, had Swami's darshan, and she came back. And she gave that, she came and told me, I don't know what you wrote in that letter, but the first letter which Swami took that morning was your letter. And he came from out for his darshan first, and he took your letter and he said, why is this letter wet? Has the person who was writing it, was this person crying? Those were Swami's words. And I was here so far away, but then as soon as I had written the letter, it had reached Swami. And needless to say, within 2-3 days, I was completely fine. I recovered fully, and I went back to the hostel, and I wrote my exams very well, and I graduated with flying colors that year. So that's a very, very beautiful memory I have in my mind. And I know that it's just our thought and the surrender and that love which Swami always wants us to always think. The moment we think and have that love, it immediately reaches Swami. We don't have to do anything special. So that purity and that love with which we do anything just reaches instantly reaches him. So I'd like to hand over this thing to. Okay. Sure. So there is another beautiful incident which happened in our family. That's also something Suresh reminded me to talk about. So this happened in 2009. So 2008, 9 maybe. This happened with Suresh's sister, and she used to live in Portland at that time, and her husband was diagnosed with a severe case of sepsis infection, and he was all of a sudden he went into a very, very critical condition. And we got a call from the US in the afternoon, which is middle of the night here, saying that his condition is worsening every day, and things can turn out in any direction. So we were all terrified, and we didn't know what to do. And the only person whom we can resort to is Swami. So we were just praying, and we were in India. We were waiting for every phone call. Was, we had that heartbeat would race fast. We were very, very frightened about what would happen. So within a week, my father-in-law traveled to US, and just wanted to say a small thing before that. Always, Swami used to always say that show love in all your words. He used to say, mother-in-law is not mother-in-law, mother-in-love, and father-in-law is always father-in-love. Sister-in-law is sister-in-love. So always show that love to everyone. Just a small thing which I wanted to add in between. So here, back to this story where my father-in-law traveled to the US at that time to be with his daughter, my sister-in-law. And we were so worried on what is going to happen and how things are going to turn out. And there was a multiple organ failure. He was in a ventilator. And she had a toddler, a 1.5-year-old baby at that time. And we were all praying very hard. Suresh and I were in India. We sent our Appa to the US, but we were like, what's going to happen? And then one day, all of a sudden, there was a decision made to transfer him from one hospital to another. And they thought probably changing a hospital at that time would help. This hospital had better facilities and some other better things which would happen which would help improve his health. So, and needless to say, my father-in-law was like very upset, and he used to cry at every moment, thinking about his daughter, what would happen to her, what would happen to his son-in-law. And we were calling him up every day and then telling him, don't worry, everything will be all right, Swami will take care. And that night when he was going to be transferred from one hospital to the other, that night I had a dream of Swami. And Swami came to my dream and he said, don't worry about Anand. His name is Anand. I will take care of him. Tell Appa that I will take care of Anand. He said, tell Appa to me. And I called that morning. As soon as it was morning, I called him and then I said, Swami came in my dream and I had this dream. And he said, he told me to tell you that he will take care and everything will be all right. And at that same time, then he was transferred to from this hospital to the other. Out of the blue comes a doctor called Dr. Sai Harinath, and he meets my sister-in-law. And he says, I am Dr. Sai Harinath. I am from Andhra Pradesh and everything is fine. Don't worry. The patient will be fine. He will be all right soon. And if you have any trouble, don't worry. Don't hesitate to reach out to me and I will take care. And needless to say, as soon as this Dr. Sai Harinath, whom we definitely feel that was Swami, came and his transfer happened, his progress came from 0 to 15, and then he quickly recovered over a period of 2 weeks. And then from being in a critical condition, he's totally fine now. And Swami is the one who saved Suresh's brother-in-law. And that was a beautiful incident where Swami, there is no time and place. Swami is beyond time and place, and all that matters is the heart-to-heart connection, which he always wants. And just wanted to bring up that Swami mentioned he made a promise to Suresh's sister that he would always take care of her. And he did that. He kept true to his word with this specific and very beautiful special incident. And I want to hand it over to Suresh now.
Hiram, my humble pranams at my dearest mother's lotus feet. Thank you for inviting us to share our experiences. And this is something that I always look forward to. It's wonderful to kind of relive the memories that I cherish so much. So I'll kind of, what I did was like, I know Renuka, basically when she messaged me, she said, yeah, it's basically you can address it to SSE students, but you're willing to, share your experiences. I want basically talk in 2 tracks, so to speak. One is share my experience, the experience of being in physical proximity with Swami, and then what I kind of took away, the lessons that I took away, and that I have been, following, and that which is, stood in good stead for me in my life till date, and which I hope, I'm sure will it will be so going forward as well. So for me, I have to, at this point of time, thank my Balavika's gurus for introducing me to Swami's fold. That's how I came to Swami's fold. And that was through my 10th grade is when I think first time I heard about Swami. There was a Balavika's class that was started, and one of my granduncles who had moved, retired in our town, kind of started it. He was somewhere in North India, and then he was the one who kind of brought Swami in our family first. So during that time, when I was kind of getting into my 11th and 12th grade, my uncle talked about, hey, do you want to look at Swami's college? And then he kind of talked about what he had heard about the kind of the physical proximity to Swami and, all the wonderful things that happened. I was somehow, really taken by it. And by the time I was like through my 12th grade, I wanted to study nowhere else but Swami's college. My family naturally was petrified. Like, you had to, are you saying you don't want to apply to any other colleges, engineering, and, all of that? I said, no, I don't want to do, I will not send in an application for any other college other than, Swami's. So naturally, my father reluctantly agreed to it, thinking, what would happen. But I think it's all when we say, right, with Swami, it's not you, but Swami calls you, like Swami draws you into his fold. And then that's basically what happened. I was selected, and I think the first memory, the earliest memory, the best thing that happened was we had the summer course that time. And all of us, so many of us who come from these varied backgrounds, who have never been away from home, we were kind of all bundled up together in Vrindavan. And those 2-3 weeks were the best, in terms of to be able to kind of ease into the whole, the new normal of, living in the hostel and things like that. We used to have, Swami used to come and have lunch with us. Swami, we used to basically have sessions within the Thrai Vrindavan where Swami used to talk about on varied topics, and the whole experience. We had a music program by the students that was presented. We had talks by eminent people. It was such a beautiful experience. And from that time onwards, for me, it was like I had played a little bit of tabla. I hadn't learned formally. I was, and I basically, when I saw, that was the first impression for me. Oh my God, all the folks that are part of the bhajan group seem to be getting closer to Swami. That's nice. I think that's a great way to, maybe get closer. And so that basically what set me out to start playing tabla. It was a beautiful system in Parthi, where all the senior folks that played tabla would teach the kids that wanted to come and learn. That's who were interested in learning. So that's basically how I got into it. And then those days you had to, when you were kind of ready, you had to actually go up and ask Swami permission to play in the bhajan, in the bhajan group. Part of, if you wanted to play for bhajans, you had to personally go and ask Swami, and they used to only allow you to ask Swami when they thought you were ready. So that's basically how it started. And that kind of sets stage for so many interactions, in close proximity. And the best thing was all the festivals for which we used to present music programs. We used to basically have a set of songs ready. If it was, say, Krishna Janmashtami or Ganesh Chaturthi, we used to have that, and then Swami used to call us in and talk about, okay, what song are you singing? Okay, sing. And then he used to basically point out corrections, and this is what you should do. He used to decide the order of the songs and everything. It was like was a beautiful memory to cherish. For me, it was so that basically was that was the sole motivation for me to practice and really hard something. So that was one thing, right? If you basically find a purpose and then find a goal, then you will basically, and you're driven to work towards it. I used to get up in the morning at 4 o'clock and then practice till about 5:30 till Suprabhatam. I used to go to a dark room, which was on the side of the windows used to kind of open out to a forest, and I could hear some foxes howling and all of that, but still persevered with it. I used to be a very, very scared kid. For me to be able to do that, I think for me, I just found a purpose that it just clicked in me. So I know I just kept at it and kept at it, and by the end of my first year, I was ready to to get into the bhajan group. That was like a beautiful beautiful journey for me, and that kind of gave me everything, in terms of the proximity to Swami. The whole the atmosphere in Parthi was you used to have a lot of musicians come in and present their music in front of Swami, so you kind of soaked up all that in, and then that basically formed your tastes and your thinking about music, your understanding of music. You got so much by just being in Swami's presence. That was really, really beautiful. I think for the second thing that I want to talk about is the perseverance for me, as something that I take away from my whole journey at Parthi. Out of the whole 7 years I stayed, Swami didn't start kind of recognize me physically and start interacting with me until my second year of post-graduation. That's good, like 4 years. But that's the thing. It just kept me motivated, and I knew somehow, it will, happen. So it was quite. You just have to keep at it, and with the faith that it will just happen. So it took about good 4 or 5 years to to get to that, and so this was and it was so wonderful that for those just except for the first year, I never went home for winter vacations. So it was just for somebody who had always never left my home and was away from my family for even a couple of days, to somebody who would basically be gone just for the whole year was a big. It's an emotional maturity and growth that you get. So that was like something wonderful. And those times, the times that we stayed, Swami used to basically be very. It was a big thing for him that you basically didn't go home to your parents, but you stayed back. Swami was so happy about it. So he used to call us for like a private sessions in the afternoon in the Purnachandra auditorium or within the Mandir Bhajan hall, talk to us. And the way he used, and those were not, the typical what you see Swami in giving discourses or anything. It was all topics that were like a lot of fun and very engaging. And it would just be anything about. It would just start off with, "What did you guys have for lunch or breakfast?" And it would just go on from there. And he used to basically talk about his experience where he traveled out of India to Africa and all of that. He was such. We would never even know how much time passed. And then it would be time for darshan. He used to say, "Go, everybody run for darshan. I'll just take some time until you guys settle in, and then I'll come." So it was such a beautiful thing. So out of all of that, what I saw with Swami was 3 things that I took away. One is the sincerity of purpose, the integrity, and perseverance. So those 3 are the 3 things that I still take away in my work life, in my personal life. That's what anything you do it with sincerity of purpose, which is basically people that are working with you immediately know that, if this is something that is given to you, you will like be at it. You will work on it with all your sincerity. So, and then that kind of immediately establishes that trust. And the second thing is integrity, which is being honest and being, to be open about what, being open and being truthful. And the third is perseverance. Success doesn't come overnight. You basically persevere, and you're motivated enough, and you persevere for an extended period of time before you see results. And during that time, keeping the faith that it will definitely you will reach your objective. I think those three things, that is something that I really saw. Then let me come over to the physical proximity thing to Swami. As I said, first few years, it was like Swami used to basically act as if like I didn't even exist. So it was like even within the group of the bhajan boys, we were like fairly, 30 of us. We used to, every time we used to get a chance for an interaction with Swami. Even during that time, I didn't seem to catch Swami's eye. But then later I knew that, like one fine day, I think it was in my first MBA, Swami talked about me to the warden and the vice chancellor and things like that. Oh yeah, I know Suresh. Yeah, he never goes home for summer vacations, winter vacations. That was like, this was after like 5-6 years. You think that, okay, Swami is not noticing. This is even physically. I'm not even talking about Swami as an avatar, as somebody who is all knowing. Just physically, I'm saying that, it was, that was like really beautiful. And he talked to them about my entire background and how I had come to Swami's fold, what my family was, everything to them. And Swami hadn't talked to me even like once till then. It was like, yeah, I just got like one of those personal experiences of Swami's omnipresence. You typically think, so I came to Swami in such and such a year, and then from then on I've been like with Swami. I'm Swami's devotee. But for Swami, it's like doesn't matter. It's like he knows you through and through. You're even long before you even thought about Swami, you might have first heard Swami. So that basically was at that during that time, my kind of my sister was kind of going through some difficult times in terms of her career and all of that. And my father had just retired, and he was we were all kind of, she was kind of worried what she was going to do and things like that. So one of those, I think, this was my winter vacations. I think it was in 98. I think October, yeah, 97. So I just, on an impulse, one day I just got up and there were only few boys. Swami just came inside the bhajan hall and said, Swami, my sister and my dad have come to visit me. Oh, is that so? Okay. Ask them to come tomorrow morning. So so that was like my first interview. We were kind of had a close interaction with him. And then so when we were kind of so first when you go into the interview room, there's like all the group of everybody who has kind of been asked to come in and for the audience with Swami. And then you're kind of taken into you go to a next room where Swami talks to you personally, just your family. And that was the most, I would say, the revealing time in my life where Swami, when we talked to us, he kind of, as I said, you think you knew Swami. Swami knows you only from the time you came to Swami's fold. He just, the entire background of my dad, my the marriage with my mom. My mom is no more. She passed away long back, and how, what she was, and he talked about my mom. He knew the intimate details of what how what who my mom was, all of that within that span of time. And it was such a, basically he showed us that he was always there as a member of my family, watching over everything. That was like, and this is something that I've heard with so many people. Like, when like you come in, and as a matter of fact, Swami just talks about it, and you at once that Swami was always part of and that's when Swami said, yeah, I asked my sister to do an MBA, and he said, I'll promise that I will take care of you all the time. You will do well in life. That's what he said exactly. And then to my dad, he said, don't worry, you're too worried about your son. Don't worry, I'll take care of him. The kind of, see, that's one of the things, right, where you are able to, even at a human level, you are able to spread that kind of love, to give that kind of love to such a large number of people at this times where we see, so much divisiveness and, all of that. To have seen that kind of expansive love, that is something that I always carry with me. And then then came the best part, one of the best times in my life. I was asked to come accompany Swami to Kodaikanal during the summer of 1998. Those 30-40 days, I'm telling you, it was the absolute bliss for us. Right from, Swami had like so much of other things. He was like pursuing the hospital. He was already talking about establishing the hospital in Whitefield, the water project, all of that. Amidst all of that, he found time to talk to us. He was more excited than us, in terms of the travel. You know what? Like before everybody assembles at 5:30 in the morning, be ready. We'll all quickly head out. As if, it was like people are going to not know about it. We will head out before the crowd comes. Okay, and then you don't have to have any breakfast in the morning. I've made arrangements to pack your bus with all snacks and breakfast. It'll all be in the back end of the bus. You can have that, and then all of that. And then this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going to stop for breakfast, and this is where we're going to stop for lunch, and we will get to Kodaikanal by before we should reach before start end of day, before dusk. So that's where it was started, and throughout you can see the kind of care and love that he showed. Was something so we started off that day, and around 8:30 we were all, it was like a convoy, our bus, and then we were just behind Swami, and then there were like a couple of security, like a pilots that were kind of going to clear the traffic. Suddenly the car stops, and one of the senior members of the trust comes running out to get into our bus, and said, Swami said, this is 8:30 now. Swami has asked you to have your breakfast. There was no need for Swami to, do these things. So with that, and then at around, I think noon, little after lunch, he came in and kind of stayed with us in the bus. I think I have a picture of it. Let me share. Yeah, this is the, hopefully everybody can see. So this was the bus we used to kind of travel. He used to hand out snacks to us. He used to kind of talk about the previous trips, and what he had was an absolute bliss. And he used to ask us to sing and all of that. So and then after a point of time, he said, I'm going to get out of the bus. I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is all set for you. And then you guys reach, take your time to reach. So he went ahead. And then I think we reached about 3 hours after he reached. And then we heard from other folks that he didn't have dinner. He was just waiting for us all the time, just looking out of the door to see if our bus was coming. And the next morning, from about 8 o'clock up until 11:30, he just spent time distributing stuff to us, clothes, toiletries. So we were specifically said, you don't have to bring anything. Swami is going to give you everything, like right from blankets and camera to winter clothing, and it was so beautiful. And every day was like basically having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with Swami. It was such a, and then we used to go on little picnics to spots, predetermined spots, and have fun. And during all of that, the small things like for example, for me, I was terrified of public speaking. I was so afraid. Swami had seen it once. He said, no, I think you should speak one day before my discourse. I said, no, Swami, no, you should do it. Just speak from your own experience. Nothing, you don't have to prepare. Just speak from your own personal experience. That's the thing. And then he actually asked Professor Anil Kumar to coach me for a couple of days to see what I was going to talk. And he made me talk. And, and then the beautiful thing was like before he went, encouraged me that you will speak well. And after I had talked, you spoke well today, and things like that. It was like so beautiful. And there was also a lot of mischief. There was a guy he was a very good speaker. He had the habit of preparing like small memory cards. So when actually he took within the inside room before he took namaskar from Swami before the speech, Swami actually pulled the memory cards out of him. And then he went on the stage he just goes to his, he puts his hand on his pocket to find nothing there. And he had to just speak. And then after the thing back, he was in tears. And then he said, Swami said, I did it purposely because I wanted you to get away from that habit. With such, those a lot of these funny incidents. And then he used to, in the evening, just before, we used to, at around 3:30, he used to come down. And then, we used to be served tea and all that. And after that, we used to just sing, sit around and chat. And then he used to start, ask everybody to sing. And then you make, it was like such a fun incident. If somebody sang, and don't ever sing. If you sing, I will run away. Things like that. You will never, you'd have seen that kind of, things like that. It was so much fun, and it was unbelievable. I think, it was. Just let me share this again. I just wanted to. Yeah, I think I need to share again. This is how I feel today. This was like every other spot when you go to, when you went to, when you went out, he like, oh, this spot is nice. This is a nice background. Let's all take pictures. And he was more like typically you would think that, you being like a student of Swami, you would want pictures, but it was always Swami asking us, let's do pictures today. The flowers have come in full bloom. Let's do pictures today. It was, So this was this is yeah, I have. So this is actually so Swami used to give us money to go out and buy things out from the bazaar, all the local vendors. He always said, you know, we should support local vendors. Long before we heard this term, Swami used to talk about it. This is actually, I had got a sweater for myself, and like Swami is actually checking it out. And this was, I think, and then he used to, this is one of those days he used to distribute stuff to us, like kept on, like a whole bunch of gifts that used to keep coming in. And this was one of those sessions, you know, lunch. You always, the funny thing was, he used to eat, he used to be served lunch within maybe a couple, I've not seen Swami have lunch for more than 5 minutes, any food session. And after that, it's always him going around and, you know, asking folks, how does this taste? Did you eat this? And did you eat that? And, you know, all of that was such a wonderful, you know, memory that I have. And actually, this is something I want to, I know if you notice here, the first picture, this is in 1992. No, 1992, 1993, maybe. Yeah, 1993. This is Swami's visit to the hostel. You can actually see Vikas Lama brother here. He's, yeah, we were both of us. Such a coincidence that this was in the hostel when Swami came over. So I just wanted to, when I was looking at pictures that to share, I was, yeah, so that was something I just wanted to show. And this is basically the whole, again, the band, that's a separate journey for us. It was such, we actually were like a complete group of ragtag folks that didn't know how to read Western notation, had no idea of technique. Again, it was like once Mr. Maynard Ferguson, who's from Montreal, had kind of donated the instruments, had given some initial training, which was kind of then passed on from students to students. And then when I joined, we were kind of going through a low phase. And literally, like Swami said, you absolutely, the quality of your music is so bad. I'm going to call Ferguson again to come and teach you. So he called him. So we were like taught to read music, see the kind of love that, you know, he used to, Mr. Ferguson used to walk all the way from Mandir to the hostel to spend time with us, to teach. And then through the 3 or 4 years, we kind of evolved into somebody who could read sheet music, who had kind of, you know, listened to concert bands that were in North America, trying to, you know, get that kind of sound, you know, what we need to do. And that kind of set the stone for the coming decades. The way Swami kind of, when Swami turns his attention to something, that is something that I've seen. He'll throw himself at it, be it a music program or a drama, organizing a drama, or be it, you know, the band, be it, you know, the hospital or the water project. He'll just give his 100%. You just have to throw at yourself passionately to that something. That is something that I've seen, that I have taken myself with me. Yeah, I think we're about on time. I have so much to talk, and maybe, you know, hopefully in some other, I've tried to kind of compress all of this in, you know, such short this thing. So in the end, this is what I have kind of, from observing, you know, Swami, the selflessness. He just lived for others. The kind of expansive love and selflessness that he showed, I think that is something that we can all take. The kind of you know, empathy, selflessness, and the love. Second, as I said, to ability to give everything. You're just you form a vision and you just give everything to it. And third and last but not the least is the ability to keep a punishing routine. That was like when they said, "Oh, tomorrow we will go, we will leave at 6 o'clock," is what we said. And then after Swami, so Swami said, we landed in, this was like the second or third day. We will start at 6 o'clock, Swami said. But the teachers who accompanied us told, just make sure don't be ready at 6 o'clock. Which means when he says we'll leave at 6 o'clock, that means he'll like come out at 5 o'clock. Check everything if it's ready, talk to you, move around, and then we will leave at 6 o'clock. So that was that is something that always has stayed with me. For me to go to a meeting or to go to a presentation or something like that. So when we say that it's a small thing, but it's gone a long way. You basically hit the ground running at that time, but before that, you're ready. You basically check the environment. You check your preparation to see if you're good to go and things like that. Those small things have that I saw Swami in action day in and day out. Those things have kind of stayed with me. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me share my memories. This is always something very special. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
I love my mom because Sai Ram. I love my mom. My mom does everything for me. My mom is really caring for me. My mom guides me through the right path. I love my mom. Sai Ram.
My mom is loving and caring. I love her. She's the best mom in the world.
My mom tries to keep me healthy and active. She's a good cook. My mom and I grow vegetables. She's very special.
I love my mom because she makes food for me. She helps me in my work and she cares for me.
The best thing about my mom is that she's nice and she never ever gets mad at us.
I like my mom because she's nice. I like my mom because she gives me yummy food.
Sai Ram, I love my mom because she makes food for me and plays games with me.
I love my mom because she helps me in my comforter food and she made mango mousse cake for my dad's birthday.
I love my mom because she gives me a lot of kisses and she gives me a lot of hugs. And I love her because she makes me pizza and I love her cooks and it was so yummy.
I love my mom because she gives me hugs and kisses, obviously, and also because she lets me have the iPad and also plants her plants.
I love my mom because she has a lot of fun plans and plays with me a lot. Number 2, I also like that my mom makes very yummy lunch, dinner, and breakfast. Number 3, I also love that she loves me lots, and I love her too.
My mom is important to me because
Mom is important to me because she is my advocate. She is my critique. She nudges me to try new things. And she loves me the most.
Hi, everybody. My mom is important to me because she helps me with my homework, she buys me stuff, and she taught me to be a good person.
My mom is important to me because she's caring, loving, and thinks about me every moment of the day. She makes me my favorite food when I feel down, and she always has a way to keep me happy. I love you, Mom. Happy Mother.
Not just because she cooks and cleans for me, but also because she's always there when I need her. Whether it's studies, homework, or even a puzzle in a game, she's always there to guide me through it. Even if she's in a meeting, she'll pause it and tell me a quick fix for it, and I'll go and do it. I love her for that.
Without my mom, I would not be in this world right now. My mom is loving, caring, forgiving, kind, and she is the backbone of our family and nobody can take her place.
My mom is important to me because she's unique and creative and always helps support me and guide me.
My mom is important to me because she teaches me homework and she cooks food for me.
Hello. Today I wanted to talk about why my mom is so special to me. I want to thank my mom for everything she has done for me. She always takes care of me when I'm hurt or if I'm sick, and gives me all my wants and needs, and always puts me first. I just wanted to say that our moms mean so much to us, and they do so much that we don't even realize it, and we take them for granted. My mom means the whole world to me, and I can't explain in words how much I love her and what I would do without her. Thank you.
My mother has taught me.
The most important thing that my mom taught me is integrity. If you are not honest and truthful, you can get into big trouble, and that will have serious consequences.
My mother taught me that it's okay to make mistakes, because mistakes happen in life. She also told me that they don't define who you are, so you don't have to worry about making them.
My mom has taught me the importance of hard work, perseverance, and never giving up.
My mother taught me how to help others.
My mom taught me truth. She'll always tell the truth to others and not to say a lie. My mom taught me love, to love all and serve all, regardless on discrimination. My mom taught me peace, to always make amends and forget what they have done to me and always just keep a clean state. My mom taught me right conduct, to always treat others with the same respect so I can receive the same respect. My mom taught me non-violence, to never hit anyone and to always be in the peaceful mind of sleep.
Over the years, my mom has taught me a lot, but the thing that stuck to me the most is that everyone should be treated with kindness and respect. Everyone should be treated equally. No one should have to suffer and feel bad because of someone else's actions.
My mother taught me to never give up. Without her guidance, I'd probably still be working on last week's math assignment right now.
My mom taught me how to do my own laundry.
My mother taught me to never give up. I have always admired my mom because she would never let other people stop her from reaching her goals. She has always helped me to persevere even when things were hard, and she never stopped helping me even if I didn't want to listen. And I'm very grateful for that because it has helped me to become successful. She has achieved so many things, especially with having 4 kids and having to overcome all these obstacles. And I'm really proud of how far she's come. And I hope that one day I can be as smart and strong and as amazing as my mom. I love you, Mom.
My mother has taught me many things. She's taught me how to tie my shoes. She's taught me to have patience. She's taught me the value of education. She's taught me to see the good in people, even though it isn't always easy. But most importantly, my mother has taught me how to persevere. Even when faced with tremendous difficulties, I've learned to find strength and to stand up for what I believe in, and for that, I thank her.
My mother taught me to always treat others the way you would like to be treated.
My mom taught me kindness, humility, and compassion, and to always see the good in other people and to appreciate them for who they are. But she also taught me how to stand up for myself and be confident in who I am and to never miss an opportunity and to not waste my resources or my time. And I truly admire the patience she has when she's dealing with me and my sister. Happy Mother's Day.
My mother taught me to believe in inner beauty, to be humble and respectful towards others, and to greet everyone around us with a smile. Sairam.
My mother has taught me the importance of education at school, as well as the importance of spiritual education.
My mother taught me to work smarter, not harder.
Things my mother has taught me.
My mother has taught me to be myself and to love myself, to try new experiences, to live life to its fullest, and most importantly, to not change yourself for others. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you.
I would like to thank my mom for
I would like to thank my mother for always being there for me. No matter what issues I'm having, large or small, she's the first person I would talk to, and she knows just how to fix it and make me feel better with her bright and bubbly personality. I also love that she doesn't talk to me like I'm only her child, but she also talks to me like I'm another person or her best friend. We have conversations openly and she shares all her thoughts without sugarcoating anything, and I love her for it. Thank you, Mom.
I would like to thank my mom for everything she has done for me, like helping me with homework when I'm struggling, helping me do the chores, and even helping me make food for my family.
I would like to thank my mom for taking care of me and helping me whenever I need help. I would like to thank my mom for teaching me good values and leading me down the right path. Thank you so much, Mom, for making me delicious food and inspiring me to do better every single day. You are the most loving and kind person I know, and thank you for teaching me how to be just like you to everyone else around me. I love you so much.
I would like to thank my mom for always being there for me and being truthful no matter what. I would like to thank my mom for always being there for me no matter what. She always pushes me to be my best self, and I have no idea what I'd do without her.
I'd like to thank my mom for everything that she does for me. She takes me to different places. She cooks for me even when she's not feeling well. She takes care of me. She helps me with my work, and she's always there for me. Thank you, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
I want to thank my mom for being an amazing role model and supporting me whenever I didn't feel like myself. She's always there for me. My mom is someone I can go to for anything and everything. I wouldn't want to stay home quarantined with anyone else.
I love my mom. The best mom in the world. My mom means the whole world to me.
Thank you, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day.
स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपदान्धवा ओम जय जगदीश माता गुरुदैवमु मरि अंतयु नीवे स्वामी मरि अंतयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथ नागेन्द्र शरण ओम जय जगदीश ओंकार रूप ओजस्वी हो साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल हारति अंधुको मंगल हारति अंधुको मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा शांति समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
Jai Sai Ram. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to offer this humble presentation that we have just completed at Swami's Lotus Feet. We know that this would not have been possible without his blessings and his guidance. Thank you to our wonderful guest speakers, Mr. and Mrs. Suresh. What a treat. Thank you for reliving your experiences with us. It was a great way to celebrate this beautiful day. And like you said, that was way too short. And hopefully we can have you at our center at a later date for a bit more time. I would like to thank all of those involved in initiating this small project. It's amazing to see what actually can be done within a week with the help of technology. I would first of all like to thank Kirtiha for spending a lot of time putting the video of the SSE students together. I would also like to thank Ronita, Vasudha, Varshni, and Natasha, and other members of the Vancouver Sai Center and the SSE gurus involved in today's program. A special thank you to Sridhar and Nitin for running the show today and for taking time out to help with all of the practice sessions. Finally, I would like to thank all of the SSE children who practiced their bhajans for today and for the ones that sent us clips of a quick reflection on your mothers. From Auntie Gayatri's class to my class, you were all adorable. There's a quote that says, "To whom much is given, much is expected." It is quite clear that this applies to Mother Eswaramma. When you read the books written on her, to the discussions on her life, you realize that this simple, pious lady from a small village went from the mother of Ishwara to being his devotee. It wasn't easy to raise Swami. She constantly worried about him because he was a very picky eater. And then as his fame increased, she had many concerns, such as where he was traveling to and all the sort of people that he had to deal with. But she learned to make him hers. She came to understand his divinity, and when Eswaramma and Swami's thoughts were in sync, she was able to ask him for a hospital, school, and the drinking water for humankind. We also should never forget that on May 6, 1972, her dominant thought at the end of her life was calling out to Swami. There are so many lessons to be learned from this relationship between this special mother and her divine son. So on this Mother's Day, I ask all mothers to take this time to work on your own connection with Swami. Take the time during this COVID period to do some inner reflections for your own spiritual growth. Yes, we have to deal with all these children and raise them. They have their own issues. But you also, like Eswaramma, have the opportunity to make Swami yours. It is important for all of us to do that. With that, we would like to conclude today's program. We thank each and every one of you for joining us on this lovely Sunday morning. Ideally, this morning would have been spent in our wonderful center and we would have ended with a very important potluck. But things are very different today, and I don't know about you all, but I am actually enjoying all of our celebrations from our living room. Please enjoy the rest of the day. It's gorgeous out there, beautiful, sunny, Vancouver. Children, I hope you have something special planned for your mother today. Stay safe and follow all the rules. Jai Sai Ram.